Why are y'all crying? You didn't get hit by the van. She did. Unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him? What do you mean by that, Bella? I don't understand why people love this so much. Girl, what? You are so full of yourself. Also, Charlie's hot in this. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this. Like, just... Wow, Jake, how tall are you now? Girl, shut up. Like, girl, what spell has this man put you under? Who the hell's Jacob? We need to actually circle back to this immediately. I have an announcement. It's time. It's time. Hello guys. So I just wanted to pop in quickly and say that this is going to be full spoiler. If you have not watched and read the book and movie entirely, do not watch this. I'm gonna be talking full spoiler predictions, everything. You've been warned. I did in fact buy the box set because it was Target Circle Week. This shit was $45, which is still expensive. But if you think about it, if I would have bought these individually, it's like 15. You know, I saved a heck of money. So, with that being said, we're going to be reading Twilight for the first time ever. Have not even seen the movies. I've seen like maybe 10 minutes of the movies. We're going to be starting it and I am so excited. I've had to force myself to wait, but I can't wait any longer. This is just going to be the first book, I think, because I don't want to rush it, because that's kind of what's happening with Harry Potter. I like feel rushed to do it, but I want to take my time and put all my energy into reading and talking about the first book. So let's get into it. This just feels like such an iconic moment. Like, I'm scared. I'm scared because once I read this, I can't read it again for the first time. Okay, I've read like 5 pages, and so far what I've gathered is she's moving from Phoenix, Arizona to Forks, Washington, Oregon. I don't know. I don't really know why, because she like didn't like Forks. It's 2 Forks that I now exiled myself, an action I took with great honor. I detested Forks. I don't think I'm gonna read back. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So far, I don't really feel much. I don't feel like connected to her, but I hope I get connected to her because these books get big. Her first day of school has been so easy. She just is sitting with people at lunch already and talking, and the guy already likes her. Eric, it's like, girl, there's 5 vampires? They all live with Dr. Cullen and his wife? That's weird as hell. Oh, they're foster. Okay, does Dr. Cullen like make them vampires? I have literally no clue. I'm skimming. I need to go back. I know it's like Team Edward, Team Jacob. Who the hell's Jacob? Like, when does he get in here? Because he wasn't mentioned in that group. Is he a vampire? I have no fucking clue, guys. This is fun though, but my brain just keeps going like, what little crumbs do I know and what's going on and what's going on, and I need to make theories. Like, just chill. Okay guys, I have an update. So I just read chapter 3 and it was kind of crazy. It was kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie. I read it off camera, but I did highlight some notes while I was reading it, because I was just like, we need to actually circle back to this immediately. Okay, so it starts off, it snowed, which is this big deal to everyone because it normally rains the whole time. And she gets to school and her car, like, she parks it, her dad put chains on her tires, which is adorable, by the way, and this like van is like out of control sliding on the parking lot. Edward like saves her from it and like stops the car and like gets to her speedy quick, and then she's like, how did you get to me that fast? It doesn't make sense. So that's like what happened in this chapter, to give you some context. But the first quote I highlighted was, she was talking about how like everyone at school is already obsessed with her, and you know, these like 3 guys are already obsessed with her, which I'm like, girl, that is not how it works at school. At least not for me. It wasn't like, no one ever talked to me, the guys especially. Like, talk in person, which I guess this is different because it's like 2005, but still, like, everyone wasn't obsessed with the new girl like that, at least where whatever. Anyway, so she was like, maybe it was just that the boys back home had watched me pass slowly through all the awkward phases of adolescence and still thought of me that way. Perhaps it was because I was a novelty here where novelties were few and far between. Girl, what? You are so full of yourself, first of all. And that whole thing was so confusing to me. Like, I read it multiple times how he got to her so quick and like what actually happened with the car, because she was like under it but then he saved her from it. I was confused about that. Looks like the car was like over her legs or something and he was like holding it up, but her head cracked against the ice. I felt something solid and cold pinning me to the ground. I was lying on the pavement behind the car she parked to. The van was still coming. It had curled gratingly around the end of the truck and still spinning and sliding, was about to collide with me again. And then it was what the f is his name again? Edward protected her and then dented the van with his body, which this is giving werewolf. Like how strong he is and whatever, that's giving werewolf, but I know he's a vampire. And then he protected her from it, whatever. He was asking if she's fine. I'm fine. My voice sounded strange. I tried to sit up and realized he was holding me against the side of his body in an iron grasp. Be careful, I think you hit your head pretty hard. She became aware of a throbbing ache in her left ear. There was one quote where it said her head was hurting or something. She was like, I've had worse. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Then he gaslights her into saying he was standing right next to her. That's how he got to her so fast. Like, boy, shut the... And then they found us, a crowd of people with tears streaming down their faces, shouting at each other. Like, why are y'all crying? You didn't get hit by the van. She did. Whatever, they keep arguing. And then her dad, like, isn't in the office, in the hotel, in the hospital with her. I don't know, that was confusing. It was just Edward with her. It's like, what? A very distinct dent that fit the contours of his shoulders. He's just built like that. I don't know. Yeah, here it is. The doctor, so the doctor is Edward's foster parent, or no, actual parent. I think it's a guy, which I don't know. Like, does Dr. Colin turn them into vampires? That is my theory. I have no clue. But the doctor's cool fingers probed lightly against my skull. He noticed when I went tender. He asked, not really. I'd had worse. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that, Bella? And then she was like, can I go back to school? And he was like, no. And then the doctor was like, most of the school seems to be in the waiting room. If something like that happened, the entire school wouldn't go to the hospital like that. And then the chapter ends with her fighting with him again, and then she dreams of him, which, are the dreams like real? I don't know. In my dream it was very dark, and what dim light there was seemed to be radiating from Edward's skin. I feel like it's gonna be like a very vivid, is that the word, dream, and it might be real. I don't know. Does she turn into a vampire? I have no clue, but I'm really excited to watch the movie after this now and see what's going on. I'm very intrigued, but I'm not like connected to the story yet. That's my update. Guys, I don't know about this book. In the span of 2 pages, 3 guys have asked her to the dance, and literally this actually made me LOL. My foot itched towards the gas pedal. One little bump wouldn't hurt any of them, just that glossy silver paint job. I revved the engine. They were all in and Edward was speeding away. I drove home slowly, carefully, muttering to myself all day. Like, she goes from, I'm gonna ram into their car, to I drove home slowly and carefully. Like, what the hell? Okay. They were just like sticking their fingers in class to just know their blood type, and Bella like fainted from the blood. There was someone else by them that was like bleeding or whatever, and she was like, I can smell the blood, it's what makes me faint. And Edward's like, humans can't smell blood. Now I'm confused, because is she a vampy? Or like, is her mom or something? I don't know, because I assumed Edward or Jacob turned her into a vampy. If she does, I don't know. I literally don't know where I put the Twilight book, but it's on Kindle Unlimited, so I'm going to read a little bit before I go to bed, because do I look psycho in this lighting? I think I might. Also, I ran out of Spotify hours. My library does not have the audiobook at all. Little upset about that, but also I was not really loving the audiobook. I feel like it's definitely like older, kind of how they're doing the Harry Potter, and I listened to Zodiac Academy in the dramatized one. I think the Twilight one of that would be really good. Yeah, I'm going to read some more on Kindle. I don't remember where I was at. Oh my god, I just found my book. Also, I'm kind of thinking that I should have got the black covers. I don't know, something about this I don't like. Like, just this one though. I don't know, I think it's fine. But I made it to chapter 6, and she just had the whole passing out thing, and he just took her home. And I'm really excited for them to go to Seattle together. I think that's gonna be interesting, but I think I'm just reading it because I'm curious, not because I'm like obsessed with the writing or anything, but it's very kind of just like weird and like fast paced, and like she had 1 or 2 interactions with him and then she's like obsessed with him, which, not that I haven't done the same thing, I don't know. That is where we're at now. I just want to like binge this because I just have literally no clue. Like, is the freaking Jacob guy even in this book? I have no clue. I have no clue. I'm just so excited to watch the movie. Yeah, I'm just really interested to learn more about, I keep wanting to call him Emmett, but that's like the other guy. What's his name? Everett? Edward. I want to learn more about like what's going on with him and like what he does like vampire wise, and his family, because it's all very weird and he does not tell Bella anything. He's just like, guess what I am, and she's like, you're bit by a spider, and he's like, not even close. That is where we're at now. Stopping point, maybe like a 4th playthrough. Okay guys, I made it like 1/3 of the way now. We did meet Jacob. Is he a vampire or a werewolf? Also, is this the one where Bella turns into a vampire wolf? Did I just make that up? I don't know. Anyways, we met Jacob. He's like 15. Did not expect that, which in high school, everyone's always like freshmen and seniors, whatever, like shouldn't date. But then like it doesn't matter after school. So it's gonna be a little weird and I don't know how this is gonna work. But she's going shopping with her friends now and we still have not got the Seattle scene and it's been like 40 pages since then. Let's see what's going on. But it's sunny now the last couple days, so the Collins haven't been at school. Wonder why. I'm leaving the light off because I feel like it gives to the vibes. Also, it's like supposed to rain the whole week, but it's not supposed to start until Tuesday or Wednesday, and I kind of want to have this book done by then, but I think that'll be perfect movie watching weather. This is so mundane. Literally nothing has really happened and it is just kind of dragging, honestly. It's just her going about her life. Nothing crazy at all is going on, and it is very, very descriptive. I keep forgetting I can talk spoilers in this, but right now she's in the other town shopping for dresses with her friends, and she went off on her own, and the group of guys that's like stalking with her, which literally every single guy this girl comes across is just so obsessed with her, and it's just like, what is going on? And I have just no clue where the plot's going from here. Like, she has to become a vampire or something. I don't know. Literally, who would have thought that Edward comes and saves her from these guys? Who would have ever thought? He parallel parked against the curb. Yeah, couldn't be me. Oh, she didn't tell him where they were eating, but he just knew? He's taking her to dinner. This is so weird. We're doing this because I just had a day. Anyway, I have not read it all today. Well, I did try, but brain was not comprehending. So last night I read chapter 9, and it was the one where like they had lunch out of the town and then whatever, and it was very interesting. I took a lot of notes on it because I was reading it right before bed, so I didn't like hop on here. But so where I last left off with you guys, they were sitting down at the Italian restaurant, even though he doesn't eat. Okay, so first of all, Edward asks for a more private table for them because they got serious vampire business to discuss. So it starts off, he forces her to eat, not forces, but like pressures her into eating, which, you know, she probably didn't need to. Anyways, so Edward was like, are you cold? Let me give you my jacket. And she was like, I guess I left it in Jessica's car. Edward was shrugging out of his jacket. I suddenly realized that I had never once noticed what he was wearing, not just tonight, but ever. I just couldn't seem to look away from his face. I made myself look now, focusing. That's kind of ridiculous and over-exaggerated. Like, there's, like, you've just looked at his face, nothing else about him, not even his, like, biceps or anything. You know what I mean? I thought that was a little, like, whatever, because his face is just so hyped up. Whatever, their lunch goes fine, and then she tells him her theory about him being a vampire, and he like kind of just subtly admits to being one, which is like weird. So then they circled back to the guys that were chasing her, and he was like, it was very
hard. You can't imagine how hard for me to simply take you away and leave them alive. And she just like doesn't care by this, that he threatened to like kill them and like wanted to. She's just like, yeah, whatever, look at his face. And then so they're in the car now. He says something about, why do you think you can't hear me? She asked. He's like, I don't know. My only guess I have is that maybe your mind doesn't work the same way the rest of theirs do. And she's like, my mind doesn't work right. I'm a freak. The words bothered me more than they should, probably because his speculation hit home. I'd always suspected as much, but it embarrassed me to have it confirmed. And it's kind of weird to me because there's been so many things hinted about her past that we have got no details about now. Like there's just been subtle lines like that. So I'm curious to learn more about that, especially. He's going like 120 miles in the car, and one time in this entire ride she's like, holy crap, slow down. Even still, she just like doesn't care. Once he's like, I've never been in a crash, I've never even got pulled over, and she's like, okay, yeah, it's fine. And he slows down to 80, mind you, and she's still like, okay, whatever. How are you not freaking out no matter what? Like, it could be someone that I was so in love with like that, and I would still be freaking the fuck out going 100 miles an hour. Yeah, so she's telling him her theory, and she tells him about Jacob, and he's like, who's that? But like, maybe he actually knows who he is. I don't know. She admitted that she was just kind of like using Jacob to learn more about Edward. And then she randomly starts asking questions to him about him being a vampire. No hesitation or scaredness about that. And she's just like, yeah, vampires are so real. Like, no questions about it. She just like accepts it randomly. She's like, how old are you? 17. How long have you been 17? A while. She doesn't care. Okay. I smiled, pleased that he was still being honest with me. You're not gonna question that you're in love with like a 1700-year-old, you know? And then she was like questioning him on like myths, like burned in the sun myths, sleeping in coffins, and he's like, I don't sleep. And then she still just like doesn't care. And then she's asking him about his diet, and she just does not care at all that he feeds on people and animals. It's just like, chill. Like, girl, what spell has this man put you under? Mind you, he's still going 100 miles an hour. And then literally the only thing that she cared about the most was like, this is actually so funny that this was the most crazy thing to her. He's saying he's been gone for 3 days, and she's like, 3 days? Didn't you just get back today? No, we got back Sunday. Then why weren't any of you at school? That's all you care about, not the fact that he's a fucking vampire? You might have called me. I decided, bro, this book is crazy. I don't know if I'm liking it. Once the plot gets more heavy, and now that she knows he's a vampire, it'll get better. But leading up to this, I'm like, what the hell, actually? And then she was crying over it. Dude, I don't even know. And then he was like, don't go into the woods alone. Why? I'm not always the most dangerous thing out there. Let's leave it at that. First of all, he's stalking her, or like in her head, to know she was in the woods, even though he was like away. Wait, no, he was back. And like, what are you talking about? You know? And then he's like, sleep well. Like, he knows he's gonna be in her dreams, which is sus. And then we got, guys, I guess I'm on page 200. It feels like I'm on page like 50. And then we got the famous TikTok quote, I was unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him. That quote, which I didn't know that was from this. I can count on one hand what number interaction this is for you guys, and it's like number 3 or 4. And you're unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him. So much so that the quote has gone so viral 20 years in the future. Mind you, I can't stop saying mind you, he just started telling you parts of the truth today. Also, I was just working on editing this video a little bit, and I got to the point where I was saying something about Dr. Cullen and how I thought he could like turn them into vampires. I do like that theory, and also how he's like a doctor and works at the hospital, like stealing blood or something. I mean, like, bro has to feed 5 vampire kids. Like, what the else are you gonna do? I'm gonna see if I read any more tonight. I would love to make a huge dent tomorrow. And yeah, I just really hope the story picks up from here. That's my update. I just am so excited to watch the movie, though. Like, I genuinely cannot wait. Like, that is my main motivation for finishing this book. And also because Bella Swan's style, like clothing wise, is super popular even now, and that is something I love watching 2000s and 90s movies, is the fashion, looking at that. And I feel like the just aesthetic of Twilight, I feel like I'm really into right now, especially because today it's been like gloomy and rainy, and now for the rest of the week we're gonna get that too. So I really want to just soak in all the creepy cozy vibes. We'll see if I read more tonight. I'm not sure, because I just had the day of all days, let's just say that. So Not sure if I'll be able to, but I'll see you guys when I do.
Good morning. I don't know what's worse, me without the hood. Good morning, guys. I read another chapter last night. I read chapter 10, so I am almost 50% through, and if I am being so honest, this is a struggle to get through. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this, and I was expecting the writing to be a little bit like, you know what I mean, and the characters to be a little but this is like extreme, and I am someone who still reads a lot of YA, and I can look past a lot of things usually, but this, for some reason, I just cannot get like sucked into. If this was another just like random book like this and not such a well-loved series, I would have DNF'd this by now. The literal only thing that is keeping me going is watching the movie. I mean, also today it is definitely more like gloomy and just like Twilight vibes, so I feel like I'm gonna hopefully read a lot more of this. I just have no desire to pick this up, and there's been a lot of times where I should be reading this, but I just don't because I don't care at all. As for chapter 10, it started off, Edward picked her up for school, and then this like whole thing with her jacket went on, and I was just sitting there like, why is the jacket the biggest plot point we've got so far? She was in a rush to get to school, whatever. He just randomly shows up at her house and picks her up and is like, do you want to ride with me today? And she's like, yeah. And then she climbs in the car and notices that his tan jacket was slung over the headrest of the passenger seat. He's like, I brought this jacket for you. I didn't want you to get sick or something. First of all, it is probably like 40 degrees where they're at now. She would survive without a jacket from her driveway into the car, in the warm car, to school, and then on the 1-minute walk from the car into the school or wherever Jessica was with her jacket. But just something with this jacket has just been blown up. This jacket has gotten more screen time than the fact that he is a vampire, and her actually processing that and, you know, having some sort of fear. I don't know why that pissed me off so much, but it did, because I'm just like, who literally cares? It is 40 degrees out. 2 days before it was literally 65 out. You're gonna be fine without a jacket for 2 minutes. You're probably in a sweater too. She just has one jacket. Like, she doesn't have something else she could layer if she's this worried about her jacket. Anyways, I don't understand why people love this so much, genuinely, which on Goodreads this book does have like a shitty rating. Let me see what it is. It's maybe not just me. I feel like it is just me. 3.67. Don't even comment on that. And it has 7 million views, so that's honestly kind of terrible. I'm still gonna keep going, obviously, because I have never read this, and I feel like every single one of these like super popular series from the 2000s to 2010, some of them have some flaws, but they're all just like incredible, like deep down, and like guilty pleasures. But so far there's no pleasure in this, but I'm gonna keep going, and I just hope that something starts to happen because I am getting so bored, and if I have to hear her say how beautiful Edward's face is one more time, I'm going to throw this book across the room.
Does he like watch her when she sleeps? Because he says, how often do you come here? I come here almost every night. You're interesting when you sleep, you talk.
Okay guys, I'm currently sitting in my car right now reading a bit, and it's raining, so the vibes are here. The entire freaking book, I have been anticipating this like Seattle scene with them for whatever reason, just because it's been so hyped up, because she's like lying to her dad about going to Chicago with Edward and whatever, and then we're finally here 50% through the book after this was mentioned like in the first couple chapters. Now instead of going to Seattle, they are just hiking through the woods. I'm like, this is so disappointing. I don't know why. It's just one of those things, like kind of like similar to like in YouTube videos where someone's like, I'm going book shopping or whatever, and you're just like so excited for it, and then like they don't show it or something like that. Anyways, I was really excited for that. Don't know why, but that did not happen. And she was so stressed. It said, I deliberately took unnecessary cold medicine, the kind that knocked me out for a good 8 hours. Like, all right. The next morning, Edward is picking her up, and her dad, of course, is gone because bro is literally always gone. Like, he is never home, which I get he's like a cop or whatever, but literally every like weekend he's on these fishing excursions. I'm just like, that is just so unrealistic. He was wearing like a tank top or something, and she was like, there was no way this godlike creature could be meant for me. Oh, and then we did get the other Jacob scene where him and his dad came over to their house to watch the football game or whatever. There was like nothing there. Like they didn't even talk at all, really. This is very like Edward centered. I feel like that's definitely who she's gonna be with. I don't know. Okay, I'm on page 272 and we just got Edward's like declaration, I guess we could say, how he was like, I had to go to Alaska to be away from you. You're sent, just whatever. That definitely makes me feel a little more Team Edward. Before, I was just like Team, I want to be done with this book. Okay, I am almost 70% through and I read a couple chapters last night and literally like just where I stopped, it started to get a little bit more decent. We'll say. I have some quotes to read. So this is from when he admitted to creepily watching her sleep every night in her room without her knowing, mind you. So this is when she like allowed him to do it, like her knowing, whatever. She already tells him she loves him. She says, I love you, I whispered. And then he responds, you are my life now. That's a cute saying. I will admit that. This just really showcased how lightly she's taking this whole him being a vampire thing because she's just so in love with him. So he goes, breakfast time. He said eventually casually to prove I'm sure that he remembered all my human frailties. So I clutched my throat with both hands and stared at him with wide eyes shot across his face. Kidding, I snickered, and you said I couldn't act. And then they were talking about how she was like okay to die by him. And then they were getting ready to leave to go to his house and she just fainted just because he's so hot, I guess. His fingers traced slowly down my spine, his breath coming more quickly against my skin. My hands were limp on his chest and I felt lightheaded again. He tilted his head slowly and touched his cool lips to mine for the second time, very carefully, parting them slightly, and then I collapsed. She fainted because she was just so like pleased that he was kissing her. Okay, so they're talking about how they're going to Edward's house for the first time and she's gonna meet his family. Basically, she's worried not about the fact that they're all vampires, but the fact that if they'll like her or not, which that is something I would do. And I think that is everything else I've highlighted now. So I'm going to now read chapter 16, I cannot say that. Edward's dad. Looks like they're going to be talking to him, so I'll come back if I have any thoughts about that. I really have to finish this today, and I want to watch the movie today. It's 4 o'clock.
Okay, I'm at the baseball scene and the other vampires from somewhere else are approaching now. Don't know how this is gonna go, but I'm interested to see because we could get some territorial Edward. This chapter is called The Hunt. I feel like in the movie this could eat better. You know what, like it could be better, but I don't know.
Every guy that Bella comes in contact with is obsessed with her. Vampire, human, whatever. Like now this guy wants to hunt her, which I mean that could be inferred from the title of this chapter that I said, and Edward is going absolutely bonkers trying to get her away from here. Justice for Charlie. Now she's having to leave Forks, like all of a sudden. Like I get this guy wants to kill her or eat her, whatever, but this is like so sudden. The whole freaking 75% of this book was so slow, and then we get to this point and I feel like everything's just gonna rush, and that's how so many books are, and I'm just like, why? I had not even a inkling that this is where the book would go, and like where the f is Jacob in this all? Now I'm intrigued.
Poor Charlie. Oh, this is about to make me upset. His first question, did he hurt you? Oh my god. This poor man. I'm so confused. Alice is behind them, and then the tracker is behind Alice. Oh, I'm so confused. Is she in his lap?
Team Jacob or Team Edward?
I love you.
I almost forgot this was a spoiler. They got her mom hostage. Uh-oh. Is she really not gonna tell Alice this? They're vampires though, how are they not gonna know? Who would have
ever thought that it was a prank just to get her there. Not her. Is this guy gonna turn into a vampire?
He was so very average looking, nothing remarkable about his face or body at all. I suppose you're going to tell me that your boyfriend will avenge you. Okay guys, I'm on the epilogue. Scared. Okay, literally, of course, in the epilogue, Jacob is here now, and he grew half a foot since she last saw him. Probably like 2 months ago. Yes, I switched back to the Kindle. That font is so small, my eye literally hurts. Wow, Jake, how tall are you now? Girl, shut up.
Well guys, I just finished it. I went on Libby and I was like, okay, when my hold comes through, I'll continue. Why does it say borrow? On that note, let's start the movie. This quote was kind of insane in a good way.
My love. Seems like a good way to go.
Why is this giving like horror movie? I don't want to watch. Poor dear. Literally, we are 1 minute in and she is like meeting Jacob and his dad already in the movie. So I'm wondering if Jacob's gonna be bigger in the movies than in the book. Also, he needs to cut his hair. Bro is staring into her soul. Also, Charlie's hot in this. I imagined him like way older for some reason, but he's hot in this. I'm gonna do my nails and I'll come back with updates. Like, stop staring at her. Oh my god. Like, he's just like just bad first impression, dude. Bad.
Last one. Just follow along to the picture. Okay, today we are going to be observing the
He's so down bad.
Birthday nails are on, as always. You guys know.
Charlie is so fucking hot. I actually can't. Like, this man needs so much screen time in this movie or I'm gonna be upset. It's just crazy though, because they just portray the vampires so like pale and like vampy in the book. Like, how can normal people not like think there's something off with them? Okay, should we do a final debrief? My final thoughts on the book. I really honestly didn't love this. I don't have a rating in mind. I just found it really cringy and honestly kind of really boring. I am intrigued to continue with the series and I do think I will be continuing it soon. So if you guys are interested in more dedicated videos to the series, like maybe I do one big one or individual, I don't know, because I have no clue when I'm gonna finish it. Let me know about that. But as for the movie,
I'm editing this right now and I feel like when I was reading the book, I was being kind of harsh, but also that's just how I felt. But after watching the movie, I'm like obsessed. Like, I'm about to start the second book after I finish editing this. Like, I am really excited about it. Just wanted to put that out there that I'm a fan now, but the first book, it was a struggle. I feel like it's definitely gonna get better though, but it was kind of a struggle bus. I would also like to add that going into the book, like I said, I've never seen the movies, anything. I had no clue what Charlie looked like, how old he was even. After watching the movies, I am in love with this man. Going into the next books now with a new perspective on Charlie, I am so excited because I'm gonna be eating this man's crumbs up. I'm Team Charlie. Screw Team Jacob or Team Edward, Team Charlie. Also, editing this back, it's making me more obsessed with the series. I'm gonna put all of my negative thoughts aside from this book and I am so excited to go into the next ones. Like, this went from boo Twilight to, you know? I really liked the movie way more than the book and I wasn't really planning on continuing it soon necessarily, but today I woke up and it was super foggy out, so that really made me want to, honestly. And also the second book is available on Libby, so that also made me want to. I'm like, that's a sign. The movie, I really enjoyed the movie. It definitely made me also more interested to continue the series and I really liked how they did it, which the main thing they changed was the rival vampires being there from the beginning, and I really liked that because in the book book, I felt like it felt kind of random that they just like appeared all of a sudden, which I mean they did talk about them a bit because Alice did see them, but I liked how they were wreaking havoc in the town to lead up to that. Really enjoyed that. I really liked it. I thought the movie was really well done, honestly. Really excited to watch the rest of them, but of course I have to read the books first. After watching the movie, I am definitely more connected to the characters and I definitely care about them more, because in this, I don't know, like their relationship was like a little cringy and I'm like, guys, take it slow. But after watching the movie, I really like it. I think I am going to continue it soon, and I am glad that I have finally read the series. It was just nothing like I expected. When I read the movie synopsis, it said that the rival vampires were after her, and that was kind of like the plot, I guess. But on this, reading this, I had no clue. I think that is all I have to say right now about this, but feel free to talk to me about it in the comments and I will respond back. Let me know about the rest of the series, what you want done for that, or also let me know if there's other books or series you want me to do like this, like read the book then watch the movie. Let me know. I was gonna like put the movie clips in here, like me reacting to them, but I did not want to get copyrighted because your girl is still trying to grow on here. So anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.